What do y'all want to talk about? We just talked yesterday. We talked today too. No, hey, it's awesome to be back out there. We've got a great group of young men here that are excited about attacking our process, getting ready for the season that is coming. We have an awesome group of coaches and support staff. It was great. We had a bunch of people out at practice today. Obviously, a lot of you were out there, but our athletic director was out there supporting the players. I thought that was great. The head of the foundation was out there. I think it's awesome. We love it when kind of the campus celebrities will come out and support and watch practice and support the team. And we also had some alums out there, football alums, which was a lot of fun. I think when you get started, there's so much to try and figure out, especially in this era where you're bringing in so many new players, right? Some of them you have for spring practice, the bulk of them, but then there's also a new chunk that joins you in the beginning of June, and that you haven't been on the field with yet. So it's exciting to get out there for the first day. It was hot, which we love. I hope it gets hotter. Turn up the heat, so we can get used to battling that and really making an advantage for us. We're excited for the stuff that's coming up with as training camp goes on, when we have the Meet the Team Day and stuff like that, where we get to engage the community. I think everybody knows how important the city of Tucson is to Arizona football. This program is powered by the city of Tucson, man. And obviously our Zona Zoo and our students and our alums are a critical part of that, but so is the city. And I think that's something that we've continued to talk about. How do we create this incredible home field advantage here in Casino del Sol Stadium? Because when we go on the road, that's what we face. And we want to put people in that same position, right? When our opponents come to Casino del Sol Stadium, we want Zona Zoo going crazy and, being a good distraction for them. I mean, that's kind of the idea, right? So there's so much to look forward to over the next, 3.5, 4 weeks. But today was a good start. I'm excited about being out there on the grass again. It's awesome to be there with the team and to see the work that they put in this summer. And we just got to keep making positive strides every single day. I'm ready for your questions.
Thank you, Coach. Start with Justin and then Michael. What advice would you give Noah Fifita as he prepares to get married?
How cool is that? And it's a big question. And it's tricky, right? Because if I answer it wrong, I'm going to have to deal with the problem back at my house. So I need to think about that. Let's see. I think my advice for Noah is just that, being married is hard and it's challenging, and you got to have a lot of patience and a lot of forgiveness, especially if your name's Courtney Brennan, because you have to deal with a dipshit like me, Noah's such an outstanding, high character young man. Faith is an awesome young woman. We're all excited, that they got engaged. We saw it on social media. I immediately FaceTimed him, my wife and I. We were going crazy on the phone, but I asked him on Thursday, I said, what are you up to this weekend? And he said, I'm just going home. That was it. I was like, then I see that on social media. I'm like, that's more than just going home. That's like one of the biggest moments of your life. So we're incredibly happy for Faith and Noah and both their families, and excited to see what that holds for them.
Michael and David.
It seemed like you guys did a ton of team today for a first day. What is that indicative of, as far as how far along you are?
I think that's both part of that, and that we do feel like we're further along because we have the same coordinator for the second year, and so there's some carryover in terms of what we do schematically. And then I also think there's a lot of new players that we need to just get playing. Like, we need to play football, and so we need to see them. Do they know what to do? How comfortable are they in the scheme? Do they have an understanding of red line? And today, we're in helmets and spiders. It's not a super physical day, so we got to do a good job of protecting each other and making the practice environment safe, but just trying to play as much football as we can.
David and then Jason.
Coach, along those lines, we saw maybe something we didn't necessarily see last year, which was a little bit more even distribution of the quarterback reps, with Noah working with what was essentially the ones and the twos, and Sawyer getting in there a lot with the ones. Is that also maybe because Seth's here, second year, and the quarterbacks are more comfortable with the scheme, that you can maybe more evenly distribute that out?
Yeah, I think so. I think as we continue to go, I think that that group of quarterbacks behind Noah, right? There's going to be movement there. Every single day. The competition is, just like every other position. And I said this yesterday. Every other position, we really want to pressurize the practice environment. Well, we want there to be a lot of intensity in those reps and for those to feel each other, kind of breathing down each other's necks. And so that we're, kind of forcing everybody to be really intentional about their process, about how they learn, how they're performing, knowing that someone is coming for that opportunity every single day. And so I think, it's awesome because you have Noah, who's such a great leader. He's a great teacher. He's patient with all of them. He tries to help and teach and coach those younger players. But those younger players all know that the competition is real.
Jason and then Damian.
You've mentioned how the wide receiver room is loaded, but today he made a nice play in the spring. He played well. Caleb Smith is a true freshman. What does he have to do to get on the field, do you think?
I think, for Caleb, and, Caleb, and yesterday somebody asked me about RJ. I think for those young players, they have to demonstrate that just baseline to know what to do because they're both really talented. And that was, the reason that we were so excited when they chose to come to the University of Arizona. And so that will play out more and more as we get going. And so I thought Caleb had a good day today for a first day. And so, just are they making the most of the opportunities they get? I tell players that all the time, especially when you're a young player, the fastest way to get on the field is to know what to do. And it's amazing how many times they struggle with that or they don't really understand exactly what that is until someone else is playing in front of them, right? Because they consistently know what to do and can perform at a high level. And so I think for those young players, it's critical that they know what to do and that they can play with some toughness and full speed.
Damian and Lindsay.
Do you find now entering fall camp that you still have the same kind of emotions or butterflies or whatever that you had earlier in your coaching career?
Absolutely. I think for me, it's more of excitement. It's excitement about what the journey that, lies ahead. And just, it's fun building a football team. And that's what, we've been doing for the last 8 months. And now we get to this part where we actually get to really, really focus on football, knowing that the opportunity to play is on the backside of training camp, right? So I think it's really exciting. I think our players are excited. Our coaching staff's excited. It's fun to see that energy out there, the energy in the meeting room, the energy in the locker room, the energy on the field. And so it's funny that you say that because I was thinking about this morning. I was trying to count in my head how many years I've been going to training camp, this time of year. It's been a long time. I stopped counting because the number was getting too high, and I was feeling some kind of way about that. But I feel like it's exciting every time because every team is different, right? Every team is different. Every season is different, and we're excited about this team.
Lindsay and then Brian.
Kind of going on, actually, I know you said that there was the same stress yesterday, but during stretches you're smiling, Coach Daggy's dancing, you guys are very excited to be back. How does it feel after today for year 3 versus your day 1 back in year 1?
Well, I think we know the place better. I think we have a better understanding of the University of Arizona, Tucson, the program, the people that are here. And then we're also much further along in the development of our culture and much further along in terms of building the program the way we think it gives us the best chance to play high level football. And so it's exciting, it's fun. And to be honest with you, I smile most of the time. People don't like that, but whatever. I'm having fun out there. I want to kick ass and win every game, but we're going to have fun while we do it.
Brian and Justin.
For a first practice of fall camp, it looked like everything was pretty streamlined and all that. How much of that comes from the player-run practices where they've already kind of gone through knowing how to move around and get in and out so that you don't have to spend, there was a little bit of yelling, but not like a lot of what are you doing kind of stuff.
It's the worst thing to hear on a football field. What are you doing? I would agree. I think it is a little bit different because you also do get a little bit more time with the players in the off season than you used to, and then it also depends on what the leadership of the team is. So when your best players and your leaders are driving the tempo of practice, they're driving the drill to drill, they're driving the kind of the hustle and the effort and the red line, everybody has no choice but to get on board.
Justin and Nathaniel. What stood out to you when you were looking at Zach Henning's film and how has he gone about really settling into his role at center?
Yeah, we're excited about Zach. First of all, he's an awesome human being. Just a great fit culturally. And with the portal, you don't always know that. You can't guarantee that, right? Because the recruiting process is, we've talked about before, it's like speed dating. You know what I mean? You really don't know as much as you would like to know about a player that you're taking. But just his maturity, he's tough, he's incredibly intelligent. He's really found like a great group of guys to hang out with. That O-line group has really brought him in. Because you have other good guys that are leaders on that O-line, right? Deuce and Tristan and Rhino, you know, like those guys have really brought him in, and Zach kind of fit right into that. And then, you know, what we liked about him is that his tape was impressive. You know, he started multiple games for them last year and really did a good job. And I think he was looking, you know, wasn't sure where it was going to be, and so he's looking for a new opportunity. And we're glad he chose the University of Arizona.
Nathaniel and then Michael.
Plenty of big, lanky tight ends that kind of fit the mold of what Daggy and Miller want. What are your expectations for them and what they bring to the season and the team?
We're always going to be a big tight end team. We like to play in 11. We really like to play in 12. And I think that group is going to be a lot of fun because you have, you know, it's going to be great. I mentioned yesterday to get Tyler Powell back, but then you also have Cole, who's, you know, played a lot of football and is a mature kid and a tough kid and a good player in that mix. And then you mix in, you know, Mustaine and then the young ones that, you know, those young ones are still a little bit green. And then also Shane King, who is young but really talented. So our expectations of those guys to be heavily involved in our offense. And I think, you know, getting Tyler back is a big shot in the arm for us because we really had big expectations for him last year before he was injured.
Michael and Nicole.
I was talking to Trey Smith yesterday, and he said that when he first got to San Jose State, he envisioned being there for 3 years and going to the NFL. And then he said, well, now I've kind of doubled up the time that I'm in college unexpectedly. Have you talked to him at all about just his journey and then kind of what he can get out of this last year?
Yeah, Trey's such a thoughtful guy. It's been really fun to be a part of his process, and I've been with him for all of it. You know, I think that's a unique thing at 2 different stops. But the football with him is kind of the easy part because he plays so hard and he's talented and he's twitchy and he's long. You know, that's the easy part. But like, to me, what's most impressive about Trey is how he's handled kind of the frustration and the disappointment with some of the injuries he's had. I think that sometimes gets lost on people. Like, that's not easy. You know, you work so hard, you put in so much time, so much effort, and then you have an injury that shuts you down for a season, and then you're kind of left hanging because you're still on the team, but you're not playing, and you're not in the practice, and you're not in the workout. You know, everything changes for you all of a sudden. And I think Trey's just done an amazing job of handling that.
Cole and David.
What's the biggest difference you noticed day one of practice this year, just looking at your team compared to the group you had last season?
I don't know that I can answer that question for you. It's too early. You know what I mean? It's, you know, we added 50-something new players. We're still getting to know this football team. This football team's still getting to know each other. Ask me that in a week or two, and I'll have a better answer for you.
The last two will be David and then Justin.
Coach, just to clarify, in terms of the potential to add some 5-for-5s, if that comes to fruition, are you capped at that 105 number? If you bring 2 to 5 guys back, is that force 2 to 5 to have to exit?
That's kind of part of the ongoing conversation. Is that will those, like with people that are making decisions outside of our building or outside of our institution, will those guys that get added back, will they count against that cap or not? I think it's interesting. I think it would be sad if it did, because then some places are going to be in a position where they would have to cut somebody right now to bring somebody in. So you have a young man who's been working his tail off for 8 months, doing everything right, and then you let him go in August and bring somebody else in. You know, I just think that would be tough. But again, I don't get to make those decisions, so we'll see what they decide.
We'll finish up with Justin. What has it been for you to see Noah built up his foundation over the last couple of years, do camps and give back to the community? What has it been like from your perspective to see him do those kind of things?
Nothing he does ever surprises me. He's one of those rare people that's a super high profile player, but just continues to give of himself. And to me, one of the most evident ways you might see that is with the next level flag football, right? He's been coaching the same group of players his entire time in Arizona. So he's had them since they were in like 2nd grade, I think. And now they're in 7th grade. That's right, I think, 6th or 7th grade. And they win the whole thing every year. So all the other little kids are all pissed off because Noah's team always wins the next level thing, you know. But the reason I bring that up is because when you come here on a Sunday in the off season and you see our players out here, and one of them being Noah, who's, you know, obviously the highest profile player on our team, he's taking pictures and signing autographs and being friendly and talking to fans, and he always has time for people. And it's just really, really special to have a player of his caliber choose to do all the right things in the community like he does. And building up his foundation, his camp that you know, this year I think, you know, he tripled in size. You know, the golf tournament that he had in the middle of July, you know, just all the people from the community and the teammates and that came out and the coaches that came out to support it. I think it just speaks to how truly unique Noah Fifita is.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Bear down.